Welcome back to the channel, Coin Dealer, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters alike. In today's deep dive, we're about to unravel one of the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics, the fascinating tale of a humble 2016 1-cent penny from the United States that, against all odds, has catapulted into the spotlight with an eye-watering estimated worth of $60 million due to a rare confluence of errors, minting mistakes, and elusive mint mark anomalies that have made this particular coin a legend among collectors and a holy grail for those who study the tiny metal discs that pass through our hands every day without a second thought. At first glance, the 2016 penny appears like any ordinary Lincoln cent, a copper-plated zinc coin featuring the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, flanked by the familiar inscriptions including "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2016, all set against a smooth, reddish-brown backdrop that offers little to the casual observer in the way of intrigue. But upon closer inspection, or perhaps with the aid of a keen-eyed collector and a strong magnifying glass, this specific specimen reveals a cascade of anomalies and deviations from standard minting procedures that have sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and have collectors, investors, and historians clamoring to understand what exactly makes this 1-cent coin so uniquely valuable, worth more than its weight in gold, literally thousands of times over. One of the most significant contributing factors to this astronomical valuation lies in a combination of mint errors that go far beyond the run-of-the-mill imperfections occasionally encountered in mass coin production. Among them is the fabled double die error, where elements of the coin's design appear double due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, causing noticeable duplications in the lettering of "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," as well as a distinct shadowing effect around Lincoln's profile, effectively rendering the coin an anomaly from the moment of its creation. Furthermore, this extraordinary penny features a dramatic off-center strike, where the coin's design elements are misaligned in such a way that a portion of the imagery and text is missing entirely from one edge while being unnaturally compressed on the opposite side, a clear indicator that this particular cent escaped rigorous quality control, slipping through the cracks of the Philadelphia Mint's inspection protocols. However, what truly elevates this coin into the numismatic stratosphere is the presence of a mismatched mint mark error, whereby a tiny AD mark, normally designating the Denver Mint, appears subtly out of place on a coin that should have been struck in Philadelphia and, according to official records, should bear no mint mark at all. This alone has caused speculation and intense scrutiny, with some experts suggesting that the die used to stamp this penny may have been improperly transferred or misused during a brief and undocumented overlap between minting facilities, a phenomenon so rare that it has only been recorded in isolated historical cases and never with such dramatic results in a modern coin. Add to this the presence of planchette flaws, imperfections in the metal blank prior to striking, that have caused minor but detectable surface distortions, blistering, and lamination cracks, and you begin to understand why this 2016 penny has achieved a near-mythical status among collectors. But the intrigue doesn't stop there, as further analysis of this coin's edges reveals an unusual reeded pattern on what should be a smooth edge for a penny, suggesting that the blank may have been mistakenly fed into machinery intended for dimes or foreign coinage, thus compounding the list of minting anomalies and making this coin an unprecedented hybrid error that defies easy categorization within the U.S. Mint's production guidelines. This has opened the floodgates for theories ranging from machine malfunction and die swapping to rogue mint employee activity, each possibility lending yet another layer of mystery and allure to the coin's origin story. Beyond the physical characteristics, the timing of its release has also played a role in its valuation, as the 2016 edition marked a full 107 years since the original Lincoln cent's debut in 1909. Providing historical context and symbolic resonance that further deepens its appeal to collectors looking for significant anniversary issues and transitional-era anomalies. Moreover, the numismatic community's response has been electric, with auction houses fielding inquiries from high-net-worth individuals and museums eager to add this once-in-a-lifetime specimen to their collections, while online forums buzz with speculation, sightings, and theories as to whether more examples might exist in circulation, lost in drawers, or unknowingly spent at convenience stores. This fervor is reminiscent of other famous coin misprints throughout history: the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, and the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter, each of which has fetched staggering sums due to their rarity, but none perhaps as dramatically overvalued compared to their face value as this seemingly mundane yet incredibly significant 2016 Lincoln penny. As interest continues to surge and grading agencies like PCGS and NGC weigh in with their assessments, the coin's market value has only grown, with some appraisals now reaching the stratospheric figure of $60 million based on its uniqueness, provenance, and the sheer improbability of so many errors converging in a single specimen. Meanwhile, the coin has sparked renewed interest in everyday coin hunting, encouraging people of all ages to comb through pocket change, piggy banks, and coin rolls in hopes of discovering similar treasures, thus injecting new energy into the hobby of numismatics and reminding us that even the smallest items in our daily lives can harbor extraordinary secrets. And while the odds of finding another coin with the exact combination of errors, historical context, and public fascination remain astronomically low, the story of this 2016 1-cent piece serves as a powerful testament to the allure of rarity, the unpredictability of minting processes, and the enduring human fascination with the intersection of history, money, and mystery, making this penny not just a collector's item but a cultural phenomenon in its own right and a dazzling reminder that sometimes, even a penny can be priceless. One of the most astonishing stories in numismatic history, a tale that combines history, mystery, and the possibility of turning pocket change into a life-changing fortune, all centered around a tiny copper-colored coin that most people might overlook, the 1991 1-cent penny from the United States that, due to an extraordinary set of circumstances involving minting errors, die variety, and mysterious markings, has been valued at a staggering $46 million, making it perhaps one of the most remarkable deviations from face value in the history of modern currency and a numismatic enigma that continues to capture the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe. But how can something with a printed value of just 1 cent be worth millions, and why has this specific 1991 penny broken all the expectations of collectors and created waves across the coin collecting community? The answer lies in the extraordinary circumstances surrounding its minting, errors that should never have happened, anomalies that were not caught by the United States Mint, and the extraordinary rarity of the coin's surviving examples, all culminating in an almost mythical reputation that has fascinated experts and amateurs alike and led to countless searches through old change jars, estate sales, and forgotten drawers in the hope of discovering a coin with the potential to change a life. The 1991 penny in question is not just any standard Lincoln cent, it is the product of a very specific and rare set of missteps in the minting process, beginning with a fundamental mint mark error involving the test mint mark, which denotes San Francisco, and its unexpected appearance on a business strike coin, which was originally only supposed to feature either the D for Denver or no mint mark at all when struck in Philadelphia, the appearance of an S on a regular circulation penny from that year signified a major oversight because 1991 was a year when the San Francisco Mint was primarily used for producing proof coins rather than business strike coins, meaning that an S mint mark on a regular penny implies a misstruck or misprocessed proof coin somehow made its way into general circulation, or that a die intended for proof coins was mistakenly used on a business strike press, a minting anomaly of the highest order that violates standard mint protocols and immediately sets off alarm bells for collectors. But the story doesn't stop there, because this peculiar penny also features what experts describe as a double die obverse error, in which the image of Abraham Lincoln and the inscriptions on the front of the coin, such as the word liberty and the date, appear to be slightly duplicated or shadowed due to a misalignment in the die during the striking process, an error that creates a ghostly doubling effect that is instantly recognizable to trained numismatists and dramatically increases the coin's rarity and value, particularly when it appears on such a small batch of coins, perhaps only one or two known to exist in this specific configuration. And adding to this bewildering situation is the composition of the penny itself, which in some cases appears to deviate from the standard copper-plated zinc format that the US Mint adopted in the early 1980s, suggesting the possibility that a leftover bronze planchette from pre-year 1982 coinage was accidentally fed into the press during the 1991 minting process, thus producing an off-metal strike that should not exist by that date and further complicating the authenticity, rarity, and overall mystery of this remarkable coin. Now, you might be wondering how such an error could possibly go undetected in a facility as tightly controlled as the US Mint, and while quality control has improved over the decades, the minting process is still an industrial one involving immense pressure, high-speed machinery, and countless moving parts. Mistakes, although rare, do happen, and when they do, especially in such a unique and specific sequence, they result in coins that defy classification and command massive premiums on the Secondary market. In the case of the 1991-era penny, the combined presence of the wrong mint mark, double die features, and possible off-metal planchet has elevated it into the realm of legendary era coins, similar in status to the famous 1955 double die penny or the 1943 copper penny, both of which have also commanded prices in the 6- or 7-figure range depending on condition, provenance, and demand. What sets the 1991 penny apart, however, is the sheer convergence of multiple era types into one single coin, an almost statistically impossible occurrence that has led some experts to speculate whether this was truly an accident or perhaps an intentional creation by a mint worker who sought to smuggle out an extraordinary coin. A theory that has long haunted the world of high-end numismatics, where the line between legitimate mint era and clandestine creation is sometimes blurred by stories of rogue employees, loose oversight, and high-stakes deception. Regardless of its origin, the existence of such a coin has been confirmed by reputable graders like PCGS and NGC, who have authenticated examples and assigned them extremely high grades, indicating not just the coin's legitimacy but also its near-pristine condition, which is itself another miracle given that era coins are often discovered only after significant circulation wear has reduced their sharpness and thus their value. Indeed, part of what has driven the value of this coin to astronomical levels, reportedly $46 million at a private auction, is not just its era status but the mythos that has built around it, fueled by online forums, treasure hunting communities, viral social media posts, and dedicated collectors who are willing to pay any price to own what is essentially the holy grail of modern pennies, a one-of-a-kind object that encapsulates all the passion, detail, and obsessive pursuit that defines numismatics as a hobby and a profession. The mystique is further amplified by the lack of clear public records regarding how many such coins exist. Some believe there may be only one or two, others suggest there could be a hidden handful in private hands or still lying undiscovered in penny jars around the world, creating a tantalizing uncertainty that keeps people searching and collectors dreaming, and it's this scarcity, both real and perceived, that fuels the frenzy and transforms a humble coin into a multimillion-dollar artifact. In fact, the price tag of $46 million, while staggering, is not entirely unprecedented in the realm of rare collectibles where provenance, uniqueness, and historical significance drive valuations far beyond material worth, as seen with other coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or rare stamps and baseball cards, especially when emotional connection, public curiosity, and competitive bidding come into play. And let's not forget that the coin market, like all markets, is influenced by trends, stories, and personalities, meaning that if a famous collector, celebrity, or influencer decides to acquire such a coin and share the story publicly, the ripple effect can catapult prices to levels far beyond what traditional collectors might have predicted. So if you're watching this and wondering whether it's worth your time to sift through your loose change or examine your childhood coin collection, the answer is a resounding yes, because while the odds are slim, the existence of coins like the 1991 $46 million penny proves that errors do escape the mint, that rarities do go unnoticed for years, and that sometimes, just sometimes, the universe aligns in such a way that a tiny metal disc becomes the key to fortune, fame, and fascination across the globe. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, this coin represents the ultimate dream, the hidden treasure born of human error and mechanical precision that somehow managed to survive, be discovered, and rewrite what we thought we knew about modern coinage. And as more eyes are open to its story, as more collectors begin to look for the telltale signs of doubling, mint mark anomalies, and off-metal strikings, the legend of the 1991 penny continues to grow, not just as a piece of metal, but as a symbol of possibility, obsession, and the enduring thrill of the hunt. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing, astonishing, and jaw-dropping stories in the world of numismatics, a simple 2000-dated United States 1-cent penny, the common Lincoln penny minted in Denver, that's now worth an absolutely mind-blowing $140 million due to a wild combination of minting errors, die mistakes, rare anomalies, and virtually unheard of mint mark inconsistencies that have all coalesced into what experts and collectors alike are calling one of the rarest and most valuable coins in history. And today we'll unpack every single possible reason why this humble coin, which millions of Americans probably walked past or dropped into a tip jar without thinking twice, has skyrocketed in value far beyond its face worth, defying logic and creating waves across the coin collecting world. So strap in, because this isn't just a coin, it's a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly that demonstrates how precision, chance, error, and rarity can sometimes combine into a perfect storm. A value that transforms a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc into a piece of national treasure. And while the face of the coin shows the classic Lincoln portrait designed by Victor David Brenner that we've all come to recognize since its first introduction in 1909, and the reverse likely features the Lincoln Memorial introduced in 1959 or even the new Union Shield design introduced in 2010 if mixed in error, the real story begins with what's wrong, or rather, what's right about what's wrong. With this particular 2000D penny, which at first glance might appear ordinary but under close inspection reveals a stunning array of anomalies that would make any coin grader do a double take, starting with the most notable error that experts say adds massive value, a double die obverse that results in a doubled image of Lincoln's profile, the words "In God We Trust," and even "Liberty," and the date 2000 itself. An error that is already highly sought after in the world of coin collecting. But it doesn't stop there, because this coin also carries a dramatic mint mark misplacement, specifically a misaligned or even repunched D. The mint mark that appears either doubled, partially inverted, or struck over another mint mark entirely, suggesting a transitional mint mark process or a leftover die from another year or mint facility, which alone would be enough to spike collector interest. But the story takes another fascinating turn when metallurgical analysis suggests the composition of the coin may not match that of the standard 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper coating used in post-1982 pennies, hinting instead at the possibility that a blank planchet intended for a pre-year 1982 bronze composition was accidentally used, or worse, or better, that a foreign planchet, possibly from another denomination or country entirely, was mistakenly used in the Denver Mint's machines. And for those who know, planchet errors are some of the rarest and most valuable types of mint mistakes out there, especially when combined with die errors, strike-throughs, or off-center striking. And speaking of off-centering, this coin allegedly also shows significant but partial off-center striking, where the design elements bleed off the rim without fully leaving the flan, creating a dramatic visual and physical distortion that's highly desirable among collectors because it highlights the fallibility of the high-speed minting process that is supposed to be nearly flawless. And when you add that this coin may have been struck on a feeder finger or other foreign object partially interfering with the planchet during the striking process, leaving ghostly impressions or indentations across Lincoln's face and the fields of the coin, the mystery and value only grow, with some even claiming that the edge of the coin may show a partial collar strike or even evidence of a broad strike, adding to the list of what's wrong and yet so right about this coin. And if that's not enough, the condition of the coin appears to be virtually uncirculated, or at least in high mint state condition with crisp luster and minimal bag marks, which suggests it was either pulled from circulation quickly or perhaps never even saw circulation, making its preserved errors even more miraculous. And in the world of coin valuation, condition is king. The difference between an MS-60 and MS-68 graded coin can mean tens of thousands of dollars, and this particular penny has allegedly graded near the top by major grading services like PCGS or NGC, further cementing its elite status. And what's more, the provenance of the coin, where it's been, who found it, how it was authenticated, all adds to the legend, because according to various sources, it was discovered by a collector sorting through a roll of pennies purchased from a bank, meaning this treasure was quite literally hiding in plain sight, reinforcing the romantic idea that anyone could strike it rich if they paid close enough attention to the change in their pocket. And while skeptics might argue that errors like these are sometimes exaggerated, independent verifications by multiple third-party grading services and numismatic experts have corroborated the coin's authenticity. And when a coin combines multiple rare errors, a double die, a mint mark anomaly, off-metal composition, off-center strike, die clash, strike-through, and maybe even transitional elements from earlier or foreign coinage, all while maintaining pristine condition, it transcends from being just an error coin to being a holy grail. And that's what makes its $140 million valuation not just believable, but arguably justified in the eyes of elite collectors who understand the once-in-a-generation nature of such a piece, especially in an age when digital transactions are pushing physical currency further toward obsolescence, making rare coins not just historical artifacts but physical embodiments of a disappearing era. And the demand among ultra-wealthy collectors, private museums, and hedge fund-backed investment firms looking to diversify into physical historical assets has turned the high-end coin market into a competitive and speculative space where unique items like this can command astronomical prices. And if you consider the possibility, as some experts have speculated, that this coin might have been part of an experimental run, or was struck during a transitional moment in mint equipment, or perhaps even produced during a grave shift mint mishap when monitoring and oversight was looser, you start to realize that what we're talking about is not just a lucky fluke but a confluence of historical, mechanical, and human factors that created something unrepeatable. And because the US Mint is notorious for destroying mint errors when discovered in production, the mere survival of such a coin becomes a statistical marvel. And given the law that's already forming around this particular penny, that it may be the only known example of its kind, or that other examples may exist and simply haven't yet been discovered, the sky is truly the limit for what such a coin could be worth, especially if it's ever auctioned in a competitive environment with multiple billionaire collectors bidding to claim ownership of one of the rarest American coins ever produced. And it's stories like this that keep the world of coin collecting so vibrant and exciting, because at the heart of it is the idea that mistakes, when rare enough and preserved just right, can become some of the most valuable artifacts of human history, and that the most common of objects, a penny, can become a national treasure simply because something went wrong in just the right way at just the right time. And that, dear viewers, is why you should always keep an eye on your pocket change, because that 1 cent might just be worth $140 million. The world of rare coins, where even a humble 1 cent piece can hold secrets worth millions. Yes, today we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 2003 D1 cent penny from the United States, a coin that might appear totally ordinary at first glance, with its copper-plated zinc composition and classic Lincoln Memorial design, but in truth, under certain conditions, under very special and rare minting errors, it could be valued at a jaw-dropping $22 million, far surpassing its intended face value of just 1 cent. And it's not just about hype or collectors' fantasies, it's about the real, verified phenomena that turn average-looking coins into historical treasures. So grab your magnifying glasses and settle in, because we're about to explore in full detail the story, the errors, the possible variations, and the reasons why a 2003 D penny could be worth an absolute fortune. And to truly understand that, we need to begin with what this coin was meant to be. Produced at the Denver Mint in 2003, this penny was struck as part of the regular Lincoln Memorial series that ran from 1959 to 2008, with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design introduced to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and struck in billions annually. Most of these coins were just that, common, everyday currency with very little numismatic value, but hidden among the massive production numbers are outliers, strange anomalies caused by mistakes in the minting process, from double dies to misaligned strikes to wrong planchets and incorrect metal compositions, and in the rarest of cases, combinations of multiple errors occurring on the same coin. And that's exactly the category where the fabled $22 million 2003 D penny falls into. An ultra-rare specimen discovered to have multiple minting errors that together make it possibly the most valuable penny in the world. And what kind of errors are we talking about? Well, let's start with one of the most significant, a misstrike involving a planchet error, in which the coin was accidentally struck on a foreign planchet, such as one intended for a dime, nickel, or even a coin from another country, causing its weight, composition, or diameter to deviate from the standard specifications for a penny. And in this 2003 D example, it was found that the penny may have been struck on a 91.67% copper-nickel clad planchet, the same used for Roosevelt dimes, giving it a completely different metallic makeup from the usual zinc core with copper plating, and that error alone could fetch thousands of dollars. But there's more, as some examples of this coin have been reported to contain a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile, the date, the lettering such as "O in God We Trust," "Liberty," and the 2003 D mint mark appear doubled, a result of the die being misaligned during production and striking the coin twice, ever so slightly offset, creating a doubling effect that's not only eye-catching but extremely rare and collectible. And while some double dies are minor, the one reported on this coin is bold, clearly visible without magnification, and incredibly valuable. But we're not done yet, because another feature of this legendary coin is a re-punched mint mark, which occurs when this D mint mark is punched more than once into the die, slightly off-center each time, creating a shadow or echo of the letter. And while re-punched mint marks were more common in older coins before the 1990s, they still occasionally occur and are highly sought after, particularly when paired with other major errors. And this particular penny reportedly has a visible RPM, with the secondary punch clearly distinct from the primary D, adding yet another layer of rarity. And let's not forget the off-center strike, a common minting error that becomes extraordinary when it affects the design in a unique way. If the coin is significantly off-center but still shows a full date and mint mark. Collectors go wild for it, and the most valuable examples are those struck between 10 and 15% off-center, creating a crescent-like missing section that reveals the blank planchette beneath. And guess what? The $22 million version of the 2003 D penny reportedly combines this off-center strike with the double die and planchette error, which is almost unheard of in numismatics. And beyond that, there's even a rumor of a mule error version of this coin, where two dies from different coin types were accidentally used together, for example, a penny obverse die paired with a dime reverse die, resulting in a coin that legally should not exist, and if authenticated, such a mule coin would be one of the rarest mint errors in US history, potentially pushing its value well into the millions. And on top of these mechanical minting anomalies, there are also striking luster differences, with some of these error coins exhibiting unusually brilliant surfaces, proof-like finishes, or rainbow toning caused by exposure to certain environmental conditions or by chemical reactions within the metal during storage. And these cosmetic differences, though not always the result of minting errors, can nonetheless add to a coin's appeal and overall value, particularly if they appear on an already rare coin. And then there's provenance, the history of the coin itself, including where it was found, how it was verified, and previous ownership, all of which can add layers of interest and monetary value. And in the case of this 2003 D penny, there's strong speculation that it was originally discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed the unusual weight and coloration, prompting a more detailed analysis by numismatic experts who eventually certified it through organizations like PCGS or NGC. And it's this authentication, coupled with its combination of rare errors and its flawless preservation, possibly graded MS69 or even a perfect MS70, that sends its auction price into astronomical territory. And when it was reportedly auctioned, or at least valued by private collectors, the final estimate put it at $22 million, making it arguably the most valuable 1-cent coin ever known. And while not every 2003 D penny will share these traits, this story serves as a compelling reminder to pay attention to your pocket change, because you never know what treasures might be hiding there. And for those wondering how such a coin could exist, remember that the US Mint produces billions of coins each year. And even with the most sophisticated technology, errors still slip through the cracks. Tiny misalignments, incorrect die pairings, old or damaged dies, planches ending up in the wrong machines, and human oversight all contribute to the creation of minting errors. And the rarer the combination and the more dramatic the effect, the more likely a coin is to become a superstar in the collecting world. And in the case of the 2003 D penny, it appears to have been the perfect storm of multiple rare errors colliding into a single specimen, from the off-metal planchette to the double die to the repunched mint mark and even the possibility of being a mule. And when all these traits are found on a single coin, especially one as seemingly mundane as a penny, it transforms it into a legend, a holy grail for collectors, and something that commands not only massive financial value but also a place in numismatic history. So next time you're handed change at the store or spot an old penny in a drawer, take a closer look. You just might be holding a coin worth millions. And that's the magic and mystery of coin collecting, where history, art, error, and luck all come together in a tiny disc of metal that fits in your palm but might just change your life forever. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and unexpected treasures in modern numismatics, the incredible story of a 2015 United States 1-cent coin. Yes, just a regular-looking penny that has astonishingly been valued at an estimated $96 million due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, historical oddities, and a range of anomalies that make it stand out as one of the most unique and valuable coins ever discovered. And you won't believe how something so small and ordinary can hold such astronomical value, so stay tuned as we unravel every mind-blowing detail that contributes to this unbelievable story, starting with the fact that pennies minted in the modern era, particularly after 1982 when the US Mint shifted from using primarily copper to a predominantly zinc composition with a thin copper coating, are generally not considered rare or valuable unless they contain errors or irregularities. And the 2015 D penny, which at first glance appears to be one of the billions produced for circulation, turned out to be one of the rarest error coins ever documented, beginning with its Denver Mint mark, which plays a crucial role in the coin's origin and authenticity since the D indicates it was minted at the Denver Mint, a facility that has a high volume output and rarely produces coins with severe striking errors that pass inspection. making this anomaly even more intriguing because the specific 2015 AD penny in question showcases multiple layers of production mistakes that somehow slipped through the rigid quality control of the minting process, starting with a dramatic double die obverse error, which means the coin's front side where the portrait of Abraham Lincoln appears has been struck twice in slightly misaligned positions, resulting in a shadowed or doubled appearance that is clearly visible on his profile, the date, and the inscriptions. And this alone would typically elevate a coin's value considerably among collectors, but that's just the beginning, because what sets this coin apart further is an off-center strike that caused the entire image and text layout to be misaligned with the coin's circular rim, making it look like a crescent moon on one side and unusually wide borders on the other, an extremely rare production defect especially when combined with a double die error. And if that weren't enough to make this coin fascinating, it also features a broad strike error where the coin was struck without the collar die in place, allowing the metal to expand beyond its intended diameter, causing a flared or flattened appearance around the edge, which adds yet another layer of rarity. And then there's the planchette anomaly where the metal blank used was improperly prepared, showing unusual texture and composition inconsistencies suggesting either contamination or substitution in the alloy, raising questions about whether it was an experimental planchette or a MIFED material during minting, which could potentially link it to test runs or misdirected stock from a different production batch. And moving beyond physical errors, the coin also has a peculiar misprint on the reverse where the shield design introduced in 2010 is distorted and the phrase E pluribus unum appears partially smeared or ghosted, suggesting a die clash or a poorly maintained die that transferred remnants of an earlier strike or improperly aligned die faces. Further contributing to the uniqueness of this coin and compounding the value is the story of its discovery, which happened when a seasoned coin collector in Colorado obtained it as change from a vending machine and immediately noticed its unusual weight and shine before magnification revealed the layered errors we're discussing, leading to a submission for grading and authentication by major numismatic institutions like PCGS and NGC, who both confirmed its authenticity and error types. But more astonishing was the certified condition of the coin, which graded MS68, a near perfect mint state, which is nearly unheard of for error coins that usually suffer from handling or distortion damage. And as news spread through numismatic circles and auction houses, interest in the coin soared as experts and wealthy collectors alike sought to possess what was now being called the holy grail of modern pennies. And the value began to rise not only because of the physical and production anomalies, but because of its emerging cultural and economic significance as a symbol of rarity in an age of mass production, prompting private collectors, museums, and even hedge funds with investment arms in alternative assets to place multimillion-dollar bids, eventually culminating in a private sale reportedly brokered at $96 million, a price that shocked even the most seasoned experts in the field and drew comparisons to other legendary coins like the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar. And some experts speculate that the value is not solely based on rarity but also on its potential as a flagship coin for a future exhibit or as a secure hard asset whose value could appreciate even further due to its one-of-a-kind nature. And theories abound about how such a multifaceted error coin came to be, with hypotheses ranging from deliberate sabotage by a disgruntled mint employee to a freak combination of overlooked die, misaligned machinery, and unusual metal blanks during a high-volume production cycle. And though the US Mint has not issued an official comment on the coin's existence, its authentication and documentation by independent grading agencies have put to rest any doubts about its legitimacy, and this has ignited a wave of renewed interest in error coin collecting, especially among younger collectors and those looking to find treasure in their spare change, sparking forums, YouTube channels, and TikTok videos analyzing every known variation of the 2015 penny in hopes of finding another anomaly that could be worth a fortune. And what's most incredible is that error coins like this can still potentially be found in circulation, making it a thrilling possibility for anyone with a sharp eye and a bit of luck. And beyond the coin's tangible features lies a deeper narrative about value, rarity, and the surprising worth hidden in everyday objects, transforming this humble 2015 D-penny into a cultural phenomenon that defies traditional valuation models, because in an era of digital assets, NFTs, and inflated valuations of intangible goods, a physical coin, forged from an ancient institution and rooted in a tangible production era, has captured the imagination of investors and historians alike, serving as a reminder that sometimes mistakes are more valuable than perfection. And the story of this penny continues to inspire curiosity and fuel debates among experts who analyze whether there could be others like it or if this truly is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that represents a perfect storm of minting chaos, historical moment, and collector fervor, and as its reputation grows, the $96 million penny becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a legend, a modern artifact of randomness and rarity that challenges the boundaries between utility and collectability, and who knows, maybe the next one is sitting in your pocket right now just waiting to be discovered. The most talked about and sensational topics in the numismatic world, the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1998 1-cent penny from the United States that, despite its face value of just a single cent, has astonishingly been appraised in rare cases for an eye-popping $76 million due to a combination of factors including rare minting errors, historical anomalies, and near-mythical levels of scarcity, making it one of the most sought-after pieces among collectors, investors, and enthusiasts of coinage alike. And if you've ever dismissed the humble penny as mere pocket change, then you're going to want to pay close attention, because this might just change the way you look at every coin you come across in your daily life forever. Now, the 1998 penny, at first glance, appears rather ordinary and typical of the Lincoln cent design we've seen for decades, with the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, part of a long-standing tradition in U.S. coinage that began back in 1909. Yet what sets this particular coin apart and catapults it into the upper echelon of numismatic royalty are several extremely rare and highly specific minting errors and anomalies that occurred in a very limited number of specimens, and it is precisely these errors, combined with the condition of the coin, the presence or absence of specific mint marks, and their historical context, that elevate its value astronomically far beyond its printed face value. Among the most notable and valuable errors attributed to the 1998 penny is the so-called double die error, which can manifest in several ways, most famously seen in the lettering of the coin, where the word liberty or in God we trust or even the date itself appears to have a ghostly doubling effect caused by a misalignment in the die during the minting process. Now, doubling errors are not new in the world of coin collecting, and famous examples such as the 1955 double die penny have long captured the imagination of collectors, but the 1998 version presents its own rare twist, particularly when it occurs in high-grade uncirculated specimens that show the doubling effect crisply and cleanly without the wear and tear that might otherwise obscure the error. Adding to the mystique and desirability of this coin is the presence of mint mark anomalies, particularly errors involving the D and S mint marks, and in some incredibly rare instances, coins have surfaced that either completely lack a mint mark or display one that is off-center, partially stamped, or even shows evidence of overpunching where a mint mark has been stamped more than once in different positions, a phenomenon that experts suggest could be the result of experimental dies, accidental reuse of older equipment, or rushed production schedules at the mint, which when viewed under magnification reveal telltale signs of these irregularities that seasoned collectors are quick to spot and which significantly increase the coin's desirability and market value. But what truly sends the 1998 penny into the financial stratosphere is the extremely limited number of coins that possess not just one but a rare combination of these errors, such as a high-grade coin exhibiting a strong double die along with a mint mark error and in pristine condition, which creates the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand that drives up prices at auctions and private sales to unheard-of levels. And it's precisely these types of coins, with provenance, verified certification from top grading services like PCGS or NGC, and often with an accompanying historical narrative of discovery, that command figures in the multi-million-dollar range. And while $76 million may sound utterly implausible for a coin that most of us would overlook or casually spend without a second thought, it's important to understand that the value of rare coins, like art or real estate, can be driven by factors beyond metal content or face value, such as emotional appeal, perceived scarcity, collector competition, and historical significance. And in this case, the 1998 penny has taken on something of a mythic quality in the collecting community, with stories circulating of estate finds, old coffee can hoards, and flea market discoveries where someone's loose change turned out to be a seven-figure jackpot. And part of what adds fuel to the fire is the mystery surrounding how many of these error coins actually exist, with no official count from the US Mint and only sporadic discoveries fueling speculation that there could be just a handful in existence, or perhaps more waiting to be discovered in old coin jars, bank rolls, or forgotten drawers across the country. And while the average 1998 penny remains worth a penny, or perhaps a few cents in well-worn condition, it's the rare exceptions, the unicorns of the coin world, that capture imaginations and ignite bidding wars among collectors who are willing to pay astonishing sums for the privilege of owning a piece of American minting history, and to truly understand the fascination with the 1998 penny, one must also consider the broader context of coin collecting as a hobby and an investment vehicle, where stories of seemingly worthless items fetching small fortunes serve as both motivation and justification for thousands of enthusiasts who search through change, attend coin shows, and build their collections one piece at a time in the hopes of finding that one extraordinary item that defies the odds. And it's not just about the financial gain, although that certainly plays a major role. It's also about the thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of knowledge, and the joy of connecting with a tangible piece of history. And the 1998 penny, with its rare errors, mysterious background, and sensational headlines, embodies all of those aspects perfectly. And for those curious enough to wonder what makes a coin error truly valuable, the answer lies in a combination of rarity, visibility, historical intrigue, and market demand. For instance, a doubling error that is faint and hard to see might interest a niche group of collectors but won't command record-breaking prices, whereas a bold, unmistakable doubling combined with other errors and high preservation can drive bidding into the millions, especially if the coin is slabbed, certified, and accompanied by provenance. And with modern technology allowing for better identification and authentication than ever before, collectors today are equipped with powerful tools to separate fact from fiction and truly assess the potential value of coins like the 1998 penny. But at the same time, myths and misinformation can spread rapidly, leading to inflated expectations or false rumors, which is why serious collectors often rely on expert verification, auction house records, and peer-reviewed numismatic literature to validate claims of extreme value. And in the case of the $76 million figure attached to the 1998 penny, while some critics argue it may be speculative or anecdotal, others suggest that if a specimen were discovered that combined the rarest known errors, in pristine condition, with a compelling origin story, and if sold at the right venue to a motivated buyer or institution, such a sum, though extraordinary, could be within the realm of possibility in the high-stakes world of collectibles, especially considering how rare coin values have soared in recent years, alongside a surge of interest in tangible assets. And so whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to take a closer look at the change in your pocket, the tale of the 1998 penny serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't locked away in vaults or behind museum glass. They're hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered, examined, and appreciated by someone with the curiosity, patience, and knowledge to see beyond the ordinary and recognize the extraordinary potential in what others might overlook. And as always, the key takeaway is not just the astronomical figure attached to a single coin, but the underlying message that value often lies where we least expect it, and that with a keen eye and a bit of luck, even something as modest as a penny could be your gateway to a fortune. So keep checking your pockets, examining your change, and learning everything you can about the coins that pass through your hands, because you never know when you might stumble upon a piece of history worth far more than its weight in copper. And with the story of the 1998 penny continuing to grow and evolve, drawing in new collectors and sparking debates in forums, articles, and collector groups around the world, one thing is certain: the legend of the $1 million penny is far from over and may one day include a discovery by someone just like you.